Hanghwa Level 3 Power English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yay,
Are we falling off a cliff?
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Bong. Okay. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
The other day, Cameron,
Yes.
I had to leave very early in the morning I had a morning recording in Gangnam.
Okay.
It was a very far drive.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like, 7:35. And so I never listened to the radio, but I decided, maybe I should listen to our program.
Yeah. The show you've done for 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you should listen to it.
You know, I don't listen to our show. I don't like to.
I hate my voice.
Oh, gosh.
I hate my voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the show and I'm like, okay, not bad. Now, here's the thing.
What?
I kept saying, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's too many you-knows. In English, we call them word whiskers.
Like a cat, like cat whiskers.
Yeah.
Well,
What is a word whisker?
A word whisker are these little or like these things that you just add to the end or beginning of a sentence. They don't really have any meaning.
Yeah.
Sometimes they help with rhythm.
Sure.
Sometimes they're used to help you think.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they are fine, and it's part of our kind of, language. However, you
just did it.
I just did it. You see, I do it subconsciously. So I just want to apologize to everyone that I will try to reduce the amount of you-knows. It can be a little irritating.
We'll try together,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here is our topic today, catching up with an old friend. Those were the good old days.
Yes.
As you get a little bit older, you don't see your friend for a while.
Yeah.
And then oh my gosh! Somehow you get in contact with them again and you catch up, right?
Yes.
So, first of all,
yes,
the good old days.
So these are times in the past that you think were so much better than now. The good old days were the good times of the past.
That's right. Fly the coop. C-O-O-P. What does this mean?
Yeah, this is coop, not co-op.
Oh, yeah.
So a coop is where chickens live. So if you fly the coop, it means you're escaping.
Oh, okay. And bad blood between two people.
Yeah. Bad blood means that there are some bad feelings, bad emotions, bad history between two people.
Yeah, that's right. So there's very negative. It's not a good relationship.
Nope.
Okay, let's go ahead and listen to the dialogue.
Oh my gosh, is that you, Jason? I didn't recognize you at first. But after 20 years, what can we expect, right?
Well, back in high school, I did have more hair and was skinny.
Those were definitely the good old days. What happened to you after graduation? You disappeared almost immediately.
I wasn't happy at home, so I flew the coop.
I heard there was bad blood between you and Johnny.
No, I took a year off to travel, then I went to university. I love my younger brother.
So Petra begins by saying, oh my gosh, is that you, Jason? I didn't recognize you at first, but after 20 years, what can we expect, right? So you see a friend from 20 years ago.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, is that you? Is that you? Yeah, that's a typical question.
Is that you?
Is that you? Okay, I didn't recognize you at first.
Yes.
And this is our power pattern. At first.
Yes.
What does this mean, at first?
So at first means in the beginning. But here specifically, you're talking about like the first second that
right.
They looked like someone else. And for some reason here, I think that this can only go at the end.
Yeah.
I think with this situation specifically, you cannot say, at first I didn't recognize you.
Yes.
You have to say, I didn't recognize you at first.
But now I do.
But now I do.
That's the meaning. Because this pattern can go in the front.
Yes.
But in this context, it goes in the back.
Right. I think at if you put at first at the beginning, it sounds more like storytelling. So if you were telling a story from earlier in the day, you could say, at first, I didn't recognize who he was. But then I realized who it was.
Okay.
So, yeah, putting at first at the beginning seems like storytelling. Putting it at the end seems like you are realizing something in real time.
Right, in a natural conversation.
Yes.
Okay, so after, it's been 20 years, and Petra did not recognize Jason, and Jason says, well, back in high school, I did have more hair and was skinny.
Ah.
Okay, when you see this, what can we know?
So, Jason seems to have gained weight
Uh-huh.
or muscle. It could be, fat
He's
or muscle.
bigger.
He's
Yeah.
bigger. And he is now bald?
Yeah.
Or maybe he had long hair in high school.
Yeah.
And now he has short hair.
Okay.
So the amount of hair is just
All
less.
right. All right.
Yeah.
So the way Jason looks is so different from his high school years.
Yes.
Yeah. And Petra says what?
Those were definitely the good old days. What happened to you after graduation? You disappeared almost immediately.
Okay. So definitely, those were definitely, and this word definitely is a word that native speakers use so often.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So definitely means what?
So this is really just an intensifier. So Petra could have said, those were the good old days. Ah, those were the good old days. But she says, those were definitely the good old days.
So it's kind of like really, very. Uh-huh.
And there's a feeling of certainty. She is 100% sure that those were the good old. There is no argument. There's no arguing it.
That's right.
They definitely were.
So when you say the word definitely, as opposed to no or yes, it feels like, oh, yes,
Oh,
yes. Or, oh, no.
Yeah.
So either way it goes.
Yes.
Okay. Good old days. The good old days.
Right. Yeah. So these are the days of the past. And you see them in a very good light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Would a 23-year-old say those were the good old days?
So I think that they would, but it would sound funny.
Yeah.
Like it would sound like they're making a joke.
Right.
Because if you're 23, 24,
You're so
25,
young still.
your good old days would be like
5
years old.
Yeah.
Which it just sounds funny. I would say that the good old days, if you are a few years out of college.
Yes.
And maybe you're talking about high school.
Or early years of college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could start saying the good old days. I feel like you have to have some experience. Some
life experience.
Some bad life experience.
And a little age.
You had to have loved and lost.
That's right.
Kristen.
Yes.
To be able to say the good old days.
That means I'm perfectly qualified for this expression.
Well, I am too. I'm not a little boy.
Yeah, it's true.
I sound like one.
We're growing old together, Cameron.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good old days. And so, yeah, this is something that a lot of, grandpas could. But it could be someone who's in their midlife or in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason says, I wasn't happy at home, so I flew the coop.
Yes.
Okay, this is an interesting way of saying leaving the house.
Right. Yeah, so a coop, C-O-O-P, is the cage that chickens live in.
Chicken coop.
Chicken coop, right? So it's a cage, so they cannot get out. But if you fly the coop, that means that the chicken has gotten out of its cage, so it has escaped. And so in the same way, we use this with people that, for example, leave their home and do not come back.
Yeah.
Or, I guess you could say it about dogs.
Yeah.
And cats that fly the coop.
Yeah.
When they just disappear.
Oh, my. Probably just because they got lost.
Yeah, often it's that.
Now, here's an interesting expression. Petra says, I heard there was bad blood between you and Johnny. Okay, so when I hear this expression, bad blood, I think of like mafia movies.
I think of Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
She has a song, 'cause now we got bad blood. Now we got problems.
We got problems, bad blood. What is bad blood?
So bad blood means that the relationship between people is not good. And it's often a sense of betrayal. Like, it's not just that they don't like each other from the beginning. I often feel it's used when people were friends, people were close, and then someone did something that betrayed the other person.
That's it.
That's like, I cannot trust you anymore.
You betrayed me.
Yeah.
Where's your loyalty? Yeah, bad blood. All right, we'll give you more examples in just a bit. Let's go ahead and listen to that dialogue one more time.
Oh my gosh, is that you, Jason? I didn't recognize you at first. But after 20 years, what can we expect, right?
Well, back in high school, I did have more hair and was skinny.
Those were definitely the good old days. What happened to you after graduation? You disappeared almost immediately.
I wasn't happy at home, so I flew the coop.
I heard there was bad blood between you and Johnny.
No, I took a year off to travel, then I went to university. I love my younger brother.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 34 and 35. The good old days, meaning you're an adult. You know, you have some life experiences under your belt.
Yes.
And you're talking about the past in a kind of nostalgic way.
Yes.
Okay? Remember the good old days when we didn't have to lock our doors at night?
Not really. I've always lived in a big city, so we always locked up.
Yeah. In the good old days, you could buy a house for $50,000.
Yeah, well, where I lived, yeah.
Yeah.
$50,000.
Sure.
I remember when a gallon of gas, which is basically, 2 liters? Almost, it was less than $1.
Yeah.
It was like 79 cents.
And I believe now it's about $4 and something.
Yeah, depending on where you are in the U.S., it can be really expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, this good old days expression is used for a time in the past where you remember it being good.
Okay.
But it's often one of those things where if you were to actually go back, they weren't as good as you think they are. So there's that concept where people remember more white Christmases than they actually had.
Ooh.
So people were like, oh, when I was a child, we had a white Christmas like every year, like snowed. And then you look back at the weather reports and
and it's not.
Like maybe 10-15%.
Interesting how we select our memories, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and especially if our current situation is bad, we look at the past as being better.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, think about it.
Yeah.
Think about all the medicine that we've developed in the past 20 years. And that way alone, life is so much better now.
Yeah. I think this expression is closely connected with nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you kind of want the past, but if you think about it, it's not all that great.
But sometimes.
But it
think
feels
of like music.
it.
Like music.
Yeah.
First generation, second generation K-pop. So much better. Those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
If you fly the coop, it doesn't mean you're a chicken.
I'm like a bird.
That's right. But you leave somewhere and almost kind of escape.
Yes.
Okay. When did your last kid fly the coop?
Just last year. Gina moved to LA for work.
Okay. So this is another expression, kind of an informal expression to say that your grown-up child, left the house.
Yes.
They're on their own.
Right. It's not so much run away here.
No. Yeah.
It's not like they didn't tell mom and dad. It's just that they left their childhood home.
That's right. Mike flew the coop last week and nobody has heard from him since.
So this one is escaping.
Yes. So it could be both.
Yeah.
One, just, it was time to go.
Yeah.
Or one, they just they hated home.
Yeah.
And they wanted to escape.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't even just have to be home. I think in the second one, maybe Mike was part of a friends group, and then all of a sudden, he's not in the city anymore.
Oh.
He didn't tell anybody, and he just moved.
So it can go beyond just a house.
Yeah. It could also, maybe it's a business. There was like a new intern, and the intern was there for a week.
Yeah.
And they flew the coop.
Yeah.
They didn't tell anybody. They just stopped coming to work.
I hear this is common these days.
I mean, yeah.
I hear a lot of young people just like start work after a couple of days, like, oh, sorry. Or they don't even contact.
They don't say anything. They're just
fly
like,
the coop.
just delete the email.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, hey, I've been tempted to do that sometimes. Let me tell you.
I'm just reminded of the time when I flew the coop.
From where?
Well, from LA to Korea.
Ah, yes.
You know, because I was living with my mom before I came to Korea. I flew the coop, like really far.
Yeah.
I had a whole migration.
Your arms?
All the way.
Your arms must have been tired. All that fun.
I flew across the Pacific Ocean. All right. Let's look at the last expression. If you have bad blood between two people, okay, it means that there are these hurt feelings, bad feelings between people.
Yeah.
And it's because they were probably close before, or they were, they know each other.
Yeah.
And then it just turns sour.
Yeah. Think of like in Romeo and Juliet. You have the Capulets and the Montagues. Right.
Okay. And so there was bad blood.
Yeah, they fought.
Oh, they hated each other. Okay. If there is bad blood between you and Rita, tell me now.
No, we're fine. We got in a fight 5 years ago, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you already know each other pretty well. There was bad blood between the two families for more than a century.
Yes. Like that.
That's right. And so this is why we see like families having bad blood, or even relatives like uncles.
Yeah.
And your dad and your uncle having bad blood.
Yeah, like the uncle borrows money.
Yeah.
And then doesn't pay your dad back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So our power pattern today is at first.
Yes.
Okay. Which means, as you know.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
For the first part.
And I realized it. Now I understand.
Yes.
I didn't know how to use the machine at first, but now I do.
We were unsure about whose voice we heard at first, but then a man stepped from behind the curtain.
That's it. Yeah. That's right. So in the beginning we didn't know, and then now we do. Definitely. Oh, yes. Check out that definition on page 36, and let's thank our sponsor.
한국토익위원회에서 취업과 승진을 위한 토익 스피킹